Hello everyone and good morning! Welcome to Let's Do Research with Dr. S. This is Dr. Sarah Namoko and I am your partner in your research journey. In this video, you are going to learn the use of verb tenses as you write your literature review. Now, many times, we are confused as to which tense should be used when we write our literature review. Should it be past tense, present tense, future tense, or present perfect? Now, worry no more because in this video, we are going to discuss one by one when to use each of these tenses in your literature writing. Okay? So, we will start with past tense. Past tense is used when you discuss previously investigated or reported by previous researchers. For example, you will say, the researchers presented. Okay, take note that you are using the past tense of the verb here because you are referring to a work that had been previously studied. The American Psychological Association or the APA style requires that the past tense of the verb will be used if you are describing the results of your data analysis. For example, you will say, the test score improved significantly. Take note, you are using the past tense form of the verb here because you are referring to a reported data analysis. Now, when you write a past tense, use the researcher's name as the grammatical subject of the sentence and then followed by the findings of the study that is being referred to. For example, the author of the researchers' names are Carlson and Benton. Of course, don't forget the date because this is APA style. So, the name of the researchers becomes the subject of your sentence. And then it will be followed by the verb, which is stated in the past tense. And then it will also be followed by the findings of the research. Okay. Now, here are some suggested verbs that you will use when you refer to previously reported researches. You might use investigated, studied, compared, analyzed, found, examined, described, showed, presented, found, stated, emphasized, discovered, and argued. Now, these verbs are helpful when you are trying to cite previously worked researches. Okay. Now, let's move on to the use of present tense. Present tense is used when you are discussing the implications of the results or when you are presenting the conclusions of your study. Now, the APA style recommends the use of present tense in the conclusion section of the study. Why? When you use present tense, you're actually making your readers feel that they are engaged to consider the current implications of your research. For example, the long-term effects of the use of technology in classroom practices are not yet understood. Take note that the verb that we are using here is are, and are is in present tense. Okay? Again, if you are discussing the implications or you are presenting the conclusions of your study, then use the present tense. Okay. Now, let's move to the present perfect tense. Present perfect tense is used if you are discussing or presenting an idea or issue that involves past action that do not have a definitive date. For example, you might want to say, the institutional review boards have included outsiders. The verb that we use here is have included. Okay. Another manner by which we use the present perfect tense is if you are discussing about an action that began in the past but continues into the present. For example, researchers have been studying the phenomenon. Have been studying. Okay, this is present perfect tense. Another way of using present perfect tense is when you are referring to literatures that are recently published. For example, you will say, Although the results of previous studies show that further research was warranted in this area, recent studies have demonstrated that educational methodology is now moving in a new direction. Okay, the verb here is have demonstrated. And please, friends, never forget to cite the references. It's very important. Again, references are a gift. Use them in your literature review. Now, I am going to present to you some more specific rules when you use, as to when you will use past tense, present tense, or present perfect tenses. Okay? Now, for example, the purpose of your purpose to write is to describe the methodology, or you are going to report the results of your study. You should use the past tense. Why? Because it is presumed that at the time you are writing your research report, whether it is an article, a thesis, or a dissertation, your study is already completed. Therefore, past tense is appropriate to be used in the methodology section. Okay. Next, if your purpose is to refer to the work of previous researchers, then use the past tense. Why? It is logical that whatever a previous researcher said, did, or wrote, it must have happened at some specific definite time in the past, and it is not still being done. It already happened. Therefore, you use past tense. For example, Smith, 2008, reported that adult respondents in his study remembered 30% more than the children. Take note, the verb that we used here is past tense. Now, how about if the purpose of writing is to express findings that continue to be true? Then we use present tense. Why? Because for statements that are generally true, for statements that are facts, for conclusions that are supported with results that are consistent, or when you are referring to something that is believed to be always true, use present tense. For example, genetic information is encoded in the sequence of nucleotides on DNA. Now, this fact about genetic information is always true, whether it was studied in the past, whether it is studied at the present, or whether it will be studied in the future. It is true and will remain true. Therefore, you use the present tense. Okay, another example. Singer in 1982 stated that sexual dimorphism in body size is common among butterflies. Okay, while we use the word stated, yes, because Singer stated this in 1982, but what he stated was a fact. It is a fact that sexual dimorphism in body size is common among butterflies. Again, whether you are studying that in the past, at present, or in the future, the fact will remain true that sexual dimorphism in body size is common among butterflies. It will not change. Therefore, you use present tense. Okay, how about if you refer to the article or the thesis or the dissertation that you are writing? Then you use present tense. Why? Because you are describing the progress in your study report. It is now a fact that is unlikely to change. And it will be true whenever anyone reads the literature review of your thesis. Therefore, use the present tense. For example, you will say, Table 3 shows that the main cause of weight increase was nutritional value of feed. Whether that thesis was written 10 years ago, but when you write it at the present, the fact remains that Table 3 shows blah, 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 blah. Okay? That's the rationale why you use the present tense. Now, if the purpose is to discuss your findings and present your conclusions, you may use past and present tense. For example, weight increased as the nutritional value of feed increased. These results suggest that feeds higher in nutritional value contribute to greater weight gain in livestock. Okay, take note that we used past tense here, and we also use present tense. Why? Past tense indicates the findings of the study. Okay, take note, if you are reporting the results of your study, use the past tense. Now, why do we use present tense here? Because these are suggesting what the study implies, meaning these are the implications of your study. Therefore, you use present tense. Okay? Now, I hope that you learned something from this video presentation about the use of verbs when you write the literature review. Now, I will bring you to the references that have been used in this video presentation. I hope that you have learned from this. Again, this is Dr. Sara Namoko, and thank you very much. Bye-bye.